What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Guns, Nerds, and Steel. This is going to be a condensed version of the over 2-hour Dev Livestream for Alpha 20, which premiered on September 8th at about 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My goal is to get all of the information in this dev stream packed into a very quick and concise video, cutting out all of the baloney. If there's two things we don't like on Guns, Nerds, and Steel, it's cheese and baloney. And I mean that metaphorically because I actually love cheese and baloney. So just to give you a framework of the video, we're going to be looking at all of the highlights from the dev stream, all of the new items, all of the previews, all of the great, awesome information that we're all so excited to hear about regarding Alpha 20. So without further ado, let's begin.
How you doing, guys? Perfect. And girls? All right, so I want to talk a little bit about, speculation out there. A lot of people have said, what's taken so long for this game to go gold? There's only 15 Fun Pimps. We're nearing 60 people. And the last year, 90% of those resources have been put onto 7 Days to Die. Gold, we want to go gold next year. Two big features, Joel, are what? Bandits, and we're overhauling the player armor.
So the 21, yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah,
yeah, 21, absolutely. We're gonna do,
yeah,
bandits and new character armor system and all new meshes. It'll be amazing. Concept art is great. We've already got some of the models.
All right, so basically all they're saying here in the introduction is that bandits and character armor, the very, very controversial new armor system, is being pushed to Alpha 21. So hopefully they'll, make that better by the time we get there.
On top of that, we're in negotiations with several companies on being our console porting partner.
All right, so all of you console folks can sleep well at night knowing that the Fun Pimps are working on the console port. At some time in the future, the updated console version of the game will be released. Don't take my word for it, though, because these guys have pulled some tricks before. Alright, so now it's time to talk about the features. The first feature they go into is the new random world gen, which is going to be completely overhauled. And essentially the big change is that it's going to use stamp tech. So instead of just randomly creating mountains and hills and rivers, artists are creating these items and then they're just going to be stamped down all over the world to just create a more immersive and realistic feel. Lathan was having some difficulty with loading up the world, so they kind of changed topics onto block shapes. So that's what we're going to look at first, and then we're going to go into sort of the city generation stuff that they are developing.
Creative menu is kind of been completely refactored with shape support. So when a new shape is added to the game, it can be in all the material types easily for level of designers and for in-game world builder guys. We're going to show that in a little while here.
All right, you heard it directly from Rick. They are revamping the shape menu, so this is what you're going to see from now on. All shapes that you'll ever see in the game will be available to you as the player in all building material types. Now, I don't know about you, but I've been frustrated before having access to one block in the wood frames, but not the same block in the rebar frames. And so here you can see there's a whole bunch of block examples, and I want to direct your attention. This is a concrete ramp. Hit points are now 5,000. In the game today, the hit points for a concrete block are 2,500. So what they're doing in Alpha 20, they've removed reinforced concrete. You will now go from cobblestone directly to concrete. There will be no drying phase, and there will be no reinforced concrete. So now concrete blocks will have the same amount of hit points as reinforced concrete does in the game today. And so that's a big change and should be a big consideration as well during base building.
1,200.
Yeah. Nearly 1,200.
Nearly 1,200 unique shapes in the game.
1,200? What?
And this is showing kind of this test map that Alan put together that has 1,200 shapes in it.
Yes.
Part of that too was streamlining the material types. So there's weak wood, cobblestone, concrete, and steel.
So just to emphasize there, weak wood, cobblestone, concrete, then steel. No more reinforced variants. They are buffing wood, so it'll be a little bit stronger as well.
There's over 50 city block tiles that...
All right, city block tiles. These are basically pre-made city sections with sidewalks and lampposts and roads and things like that, with empty spaces that then POIs will then be generated into during random world generation. Now, they've said that random world gen is going to be significantly faster, even for large map sizes. And so what's going to happen is you're going to have all of these city map tiles that are placed together in a city or an urban area, and then POIs will sort of randomly pop up. So you should never see the same sort of city section twice, because it's also sort of randomly generated. And we'll skip ahead a little bit and take a look at that.
So now we're going to go ahead and show you the editor that we talked about before.
Yes, the Fun Pimps are having technical difficulties tonight, and we're all familiar with technical difficulties when it comes to 7 Days to Die. I mean, let's be real. As the Fun Pimps are loading up the world, we get a glimpse of this new POI right here. This is a hotel, and I believe they said it would be a tier 4 quest. Now, we did see this in the Dev Livestreams from back last December, but it appears as though they've done a little bit of work on it. It's a little bit different, so can't wait to check this one out.
Okay.
Second one from the bottom. Load that one up.
Oh, no, I got it.
So yes, here we are looking at a city tile. They said there are like 50 of these, and basically you can just see it just like a city template, and there are these empty boxes. Now these empty boxes will be populated with pre-made POIs, and so they'll kind of just be randomly stuck in based on districts. And so the district can be like downtown, city center, industrial, commercial, residential, blah blah blah. So an appropriate POI will then be loaded into this when you generate your world. And there are so many different city tiles and so many different POIs. It's just going to make for unique districts and zones and neighborhoods, and every map, every playthrough, every time you go into a city, it's going to be a different experience. So what you're seeing here is when they actually load in the POIs. Some of these are recognizable and others are completely new. They're working on tons of new POIs for Alpha 20, and what you're going to see in just a second is they're going to unload the ones that have been loaded in and load in a fresh set of randomly generated POIs to populate the city tile with. So you can kind of see how the variations are bordering on infinite for this. One kind of cool thing that I heard them mention is that these can contain sewers that you can then go down into and explore for loot and like kill zombies and things like that.
We have over 50 city tiles of various districts. Some are commercial, some are residential, some are downtown city center. There's ghost town tiles even, so we can build a ghost town in the desert, for example, in the game, and they look really good. Intersection 2. So there could be more than one intersection, more than one T, more than one cap, more than one corner. And you can see there's an overpass built into this one. So this is a little more rural space here.
Alrighty then, good stuff. All right, moving on to some new POIs.
So the next feature is we have new POIs. So there are 145 new locations in Alpha 20 and growing. There's a lot of tier 3s and 4s and even some tier 5s that are new to Alpha 20.
That's incredible. Literally over 100 new POIs. Here's a look at the first one that they're going to showcase. And basically what you're looking at here is a building that has tipped over onto its side. And what happens when you go in is you can go through the POI. Everything is kind of 90-degree tilted. And so it makes for just a unique experience going through this. It's pretty cool. They go into depth going through this and talking about it. But I just want to give you a brief perspective of it before we move on. Here's another new POI that they're working on right here. Looks like some kind of a gym. Cool bathroom stalls, love them. This here is a tier 4 POI, some kind of a warehouse, looks pretty cool.
Probably could be tier 5, it's ginormous. Back out.
Cool new mansion here.
I don't know what this is. Hernan made this, but I'm gonna dub it El Chapo's mansion. Tennis court. Yeah. Now you know why it's called El Chapo's mansion. And this is kind of an old creepy kind of Addams Family house that's been upgraded.
And now here's a look at the tier 4 apartment, which will now be a tier 5, and apparently they've revamped it a little bit.
We got guys working on 21 already, because we have to stagger it. They can't all work on the same thing at once, but
Okay, just to summarize a long conversation they had here, basically they have members of the team, apparently 6 people working on bandits and character armor for Alpha 21 right now. So as the rest of the team is finishing up Alpha 20, people are already moving on to Alpha 21, which is kind of cool to see.
That's the coolest character I've ever seen.
Okay, now we're moving on to new character models. This will be for zombies and traders. All zombies and traders have been upgraded for Alpha 21. Now, we've seen many of these on Twitter already, but there are a bunch of new pictures here, so stay tuned.
Ones that are on fire that are harder to kill and move quicker, if I remember right, and kind of glow.
So what I think he's referring to here is this picture, which was on Twitter a couple of months ago. So apparently something they're introducing at Alpha 20 is tiered zombies. So zombies like the burned zombie will have an easy version and a hard version, perhaps depending on your game stage. And so this one here is going to be the glowing, burning, more difficult to kill one. And the one we saw earlier will be the softer, squishy one that we're kind of used to seeing. And here's a look at the new dog. We have seen this before on Twitter as well, and I'll put the old version, the one that looks better, on the screen here in a second. But I want to draw your attention to the gigantic zombie dog nutsack that's right in your face right now. Hilarious, I love it. Yeah, and here's just a quick glimpse of the old one, the picture that they released on Twitter a while ago. This looks pretty friggin' cool. Stuff of Nightmares looks a lot like the Resident Evil dogs. So interestingly, the old spider zombie model was one of the Kickstarter supporters that they based it on. So they're going to be keeping that into the game, but it's going to be a general zombie with no special ability. And you can see him right here. The spider zombie is going to become an entirely new model, and it's crazy. This looks totally insane. Apparently this model here is going to have a special sort of animation where the mandible, which is the bottom part of the jaw, is going to flare open, and like the tongue is going to come out and stuff like that. Supposedly it's going to be terrifying in game, and I can't wait to see it. Oh god, and this is the new feral white. My god, this is terrifying. What are the Fun Pimps doing? This is crazy.
What do you got next?
Oh, the drone. There it is.
Ah, yes, the controversial, at best, drone. So basically what they said is that this will not be weaponized. You can do a few things. You can put mods on it. The teddy bear head is one mod you can put on. You can put a light mod that sort of acts like a helmet light, so it's helpful when mining. It's like a pack mule. You can put stuff into it. For example, you can also put medical supplies into it, and it can then heal you with said medical supplies. Sort of a R2-D2 is what they referred to it as.
And, the little teddy bear helmet, that's a mod, too. It's kind of a morale booster. It's got like a female mechanical robot voice, and I think it's kind of charming, actually.
All right, so here the Fun Pips go to great lengths to describe these models for you. Basically, we're looking at Trader Joel here, and I'll show another picture that was released on Twitter a couple of months ago. This is actually based on Joel himself, so that's pretty cool. And here's the new Lumberjack Zombie again. I think they definitely took some inspiration from Paul Bunyan here. Here's a look at the new Nurse Zombie, so a little bit more of a, modern look to her. And then they talk a little bit about the new jiggle system and how some zombies are going to have parts like their jaw or their hand that kind of dangle around. And I'm actually going to pull in an image from Twitter of the new Lab Zombie. She's the one with the dangly hand thing. I believe the Nurse Zombie is supposed to be the one with the dangly jaw. At least that's what it looked like on previous Dev streams. And here's a look at the new, I don't know what they're calling this guy, the new like radiated Blobby zombie. And they do talk a little bit about this zombie having a special ability, not for Alpha 20, but for Alpha 21. And what's going to happen is he's going to detach some piece of his body, some part of this like radiated goop that's growing off of him, and he's going to throw it at you as a ranged attack.
Oh, yeah, the Screamer zombie. So scary looking. That's the new Screamer.
She's getting an animated jaw and tongue, so when she screams, it opens up.
The next item on the docket are the HD weapons, and apparently all the weapons will have HD models, so that's nice.
And all these new models, they all have their own custom scope, silencer, flashlight model, etc. We're no longer using generic accessories for every weapon in the game, so each one has their own. So you find a scope and maybe the icon looks the same, but if you bolt it on a shotgun, it'll look different than if you bolt it onto a rifle. And that way there's no clipping issues, the scale works right, it just looks like it was made for the weapon. Very more immersive and, you know, just professional.
These are the primitive weapons, which will fire normal ammunition. So you can find ammo on day one, load it into a pipe rifle, pipe pistol, pipe machine gun, whatever the case may be, which you can either find very early on in loot or craft yourself. It won't be very powerful, but it will follow the weapon specialization trees and perk trees, so you can put your points into guns right away and reap the benefits.
And that's the lever action rifle. So this is replacing the old marksman rifle, which was too much like a high-end sniper rifle. Here's the chainsaw. I think you guys have been tired of the old chainsaw. I know I was. That is the new pump shotgun, all brand new weapon.
All right, cool stuff. So now they go on for a few minutes and talk about some of the new shaders and graphics options and some of the things that they're doing to optimize the game. In Alpha 20, you'll be able to color your new HD bedroll and also your vehicles too. They did mention that there will be now quest markers for the initial quests, that is, collecting rocks, wood, grass, things like that. So for better or for worse, there will be painfully obvious yellow quest markers for those. There's some new environment art here, new fluorescent lights, a new can for the red tea, ooh, exciting, electrical boxes, and so on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the bulk of the video, but there was a Q&A session at the end of the Dev Livestream, so I'm going to just blaze through some of the topics that were covered there. Let's begin. Third-person character animations have been reworked. There has been polish for animal animations. There was some discussion about feral sense, which is a setting that you can turn up and adjust how far zombies can detect you from, either during the day, during the night, or all of the time. There was a bunch of discussion about vehicle mods. There will be a third seat mod for the 4x4, and there will be a second seat mod for the mini bike and the motorcycle. No adjustments yet for the gyrocopter or the bicycle. There will also be a fuel economy mod for gas efficiency. There will be a power mod so you can get up hills faster. Radiation changes have been bumped to Alpha 21. There will be Tier 3 buried supplies. There will be a story mode sort of thing that they're working on, and they have enhanced the trader to trader progression. That is when you do 10 missions and you unlock the next trader, and the trader just sends you off to some other trader. They're working on an intro video or animation. I think this is for Alpha 21, and they've hired a voice actor to play the Duke, who is mentioned at the very beginning when you get that piece of paper in your backpack. There have been some ideas tossed around about boss zombies, and this kind of harkens back to the tiered zombies that they're starting to introduce, where early on you'll just face regular zombies, and as you increase in game stage, the zombies will be the same, but they'll kind of be like modified a little bit to get harder and harder. The example that they gave was perhaps you'll have a lumberjack, and in the early game he'll hit you with his hands, in the mid game he'll have an axe, and in the late game he'll have a chainsaw. Sounds pretty cool to me. They also talked about what they called sale stage, and this is basically scaling the items at the trader so that you have less likelihood to get like really advanced late game items really early on. They talked a lot about new furniture and a little bit about the new console. They're targeting the new gen of consoles like the PS5 with the ability to port back to older gen consoles. They mentioned a Tier 5 Poppin' Pills factory. Infections will now be much more frequent. Honey from trees has been drastically reduced. There's significantly less food, so the game overall is much harder and more survival-like. They've modified the farm plots. There are a lot of new farm POIs as well, and these will be like on the outskirts of town in the more rural areas. There is no new zombie audio. They actually gave a number for new POIs. Currently, there are 145 new POIs for Alpha 21, and they're expecting up to 170-ish by shipment. There's a new wire tool. There is a new player storage system with better signs. They didn't really extrapolate on that. That's all we got. And there will be new pre-gen maps. So the big question I know you all are asking is, when will Alpha 21 release? And I have a good answer for you right here.
Before Halloween, and at least experimental, I would say for sure.
Before Halloween, and at least experimental, I would say for sure.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to have to do it for my Alpha 20 Dev Stream recap. If you liked this video and you want to see more recaps for all of the Alpha 20 Dev live streams that will be happening every Wednesday up until release, be sure to let me know, and you know exactly how to do that. Check out the links in the description for more content, ways to support the channel, and ways to become a part of the GNS community. If I don't catch you on the Discord or on the GNS multiplayer server, maybe I'll talk to you in the comments down below. My name is Temricky, and I hope that I've earned your subscription today. Thank you for watching, and Rick, play us out.
Blame it on your potato computer.
Yeah, that's what it is. My computer can't handle it, everybody.
I'm going to play the blues till you load it up.
That's fine. We don't even have it in a Steam build yet.
It's turned into a music stream, everybody.
I got
Isn't probably the next stream the one that we're showing all of it?
Get the grass level, Lakeland.
Show us your grass? No, I can't do it.
There we
My
go.
potato
That's it.
computer can't handle it, everybody.